Makati mose muri Zimbabwe kusangana zvekare pano pachivhitivhiti paTV yenyu patinokupa nyaya nemalatest updates anenge achiitika munyika yeZimbabwe. Nhasi uno nyaya hombe imwe yandinoda kuti ndikuonesei inyaya diki diki but ndichazokusiyai makateerera kuvana vediaspora because macontribution ari kuitwa nevana vediaspora ari kutadza kuricha kwamuri nekuda kweplatform yavari kushandisa, asi isusu nekuda kwekuti tinenge tichishandisa YouTube tinokodzera kuzvitora touya nazvo panapa tiri kunzwisai kuti pane mamwe mavoices atori against hurumende pamwe chete ne2030 agenda. So vari kutaura vachiti ivo panapa comrade vekuchiwenga side vari kuti the army hierarchy must realize that Emmerson Mnangagwa is indirectly fighting them through Themba Mliswa by allowing him to denounce some of its senior army generals. This calculated strategy is a direct attempt to undermine command structure and sow division within the ranks, yes, the army. Right, nyaya iri kutaurwa mashoko makuru kana magenerals muchititeerera nemamwe maveterans vachititeerera panapo state of affairs. Nyaya iyi inyaya inoda kuti addresswe because sei ndiri kutaura kuti inoda kuti addresswe. Makaona Themba Mliswa akaataka mukadzi waVP Chiwenga last time nenyaya dzekuarmy idzodzi, patakaona Emmerson Mnangagwa achibva achinja mukadzi waChiwenga through Tafumanei. Saka zvinhu izvozvo itori threat iyoyo because Themba Mliswa ndiye munhu ari kuuya onyandanura nyaya dzedzi akaita sekunge anyandanura ED obva aita action, ndo nyaya dziri pai. Saka ana Tafumanei vese vari kushanda against people of Zimbabwe, against the military command. So ndo mamirira zvakaita. Ndanguya kuti ndikokuonesaiwo izvozvo kuti kana musiri kuzviona Honai, but ndichakusiyai zvekare makateerera kubva kuma citizens ari kuraramira diaspora kuti munzwewo macontribution avo munyika yeZimbabwe kuti kune vamwe vanhu vatori opposite side zvambai manje. Saka ndo mamirira zvakaita munyika.
First statement was there is no constitution to defend. That was his statement. So we shouldn't be doing anything. Why should we worry? There's no constitution to defend. That was his statement. Saka vanhu vakareza izvozvo motanzi, why are you talking about Chamisa? Why are you talking? We talk about him because ndiye ari wamuri kupropagata pano kuti afanira kucriticizwa nana Hwende apa. And Vana Hwende should show what have they done about 2030. What has Chamisa done about 2030? Nothing, except to say there's no constitution to defend. Iwewe ungati as a man you are pursuing your own career. Someone who decided to abdicate. It's not kind communication. He didn't discuss with anyone. Committee, he just resigned. I will not listen to Wende because he remained in parliament. Come on. That's his career. He can't just leave because Chamisa decided to leave and they did not agree. Usually in a normal party, they would say, guys, are we contesting my elections or are we not? More decide what and National Executive Committee had decided that we are not doing this. Then we at one stand. Quite a lead, I'm not contesting. My MP may say I'm not contesting. I'm not contesting. I think I don't contest or again. But when we contest, we contest the leader aramba contest and I find ram. That is not how you run a political party. We are not children. Zimbabwe is not a household or some kind of a barrier of society. It's a country. So in my view, you have to be open to Chamisa being criticized properly. Yeah, by his own lieutenants, by the people on this platform, both in opposition and in supporting the ruling party. Because if he were to become a leader, he will also become my leader. The same way Mnangagwa is your leader, so I have to be able to criticize what Chamisa said. But why should you tell us what we do? Anyway, that's my contribution.
Okay, Zambezia.
Yeah, it's good. Thanks. I just want to be very brief and maybe. Can you hear me?
Yeah, 100%.
And maybe reinforce what Chaka is saying. I totally agree with him. And I totally disagree with what Max is saying here. Max speaks about people who have done nothing. The number one person who has done nothing is Chamisa. Hapana kana zvaruita, zero, absolutely zero. You can't be a political leader and pop up after kind of 3 weeks waisa tweet and vanhu vari kuti 2030 no to 2030 woisati kuti no to 2050, then you go back and disappear. Then the supporter comes here and tells us kuti vanhu vari actually active hapana zvavari kuita. The number one person palist yevanhu vasina zvavari kuita ndichamisa, and iye ari more dense pakuti he has got these guys like Max vane vachingomunanzva vachimutevera. Apa he's doing nothing, absolutely nothing. I would like to ask kuti chii chaamboita this year to fight 2030? Absolutely nothing, unless I missed something. Vanhu vakatiza kuparliament ka, actually we should criticize them. How are they going to fight this thing ivo vachirasa power ravavawana? Because kana uri MP handiti you have got certain powers, you can speak and get a platform. And from what I understand, these guys were above 70 and their votes could have counted. Then they played yataiti coward kudhara voshaika panzvimbo. Saka vari kutibatsira. What is Markham doing right now kunze kwokungoonekwa here and there with the tweet? They've thrown away the power ravakapiwa nevanhu vanditi vakungotaura vari panze. Saka zvichatibatsirei izvozvo? Nyika iyi kai besides zvainoita zvokudisenfranchise vanhu handiti ine mastructures ainayo okuti ukasafamba nawo vanokusunga. Saka iwo kana wapanze uchaita sei manje? Chamisa is outside there and is doing nothing. Mahere is joined here. Of course, she makes noise on Twitter, but so what? They threw away the power avakapiwa nevanhu. Vakapiwa power rinoita kuti vapinde muparliament and do something. Now even they have zero power because the option they have now is to organize it, to overthrow my structures aripo, and you can't overthrow that government because it's too strong for you. You will just be thrown into prison. Saka iwo kana uchirasa power ratakupa, what are you trying to achieve? And the demand yokuti urase power is based on the fact that Chamisa akaramba game, akangorama game and went home. Then everyone else is supposed to do the same. Now imagine everyone else does the same, Chamisa watch. So what are we going to achieve with that? Absolutely zero. I want to classify if we follow the template in Chamisa, we are going to end up with nothing on this end. ZANU-PF will sell through zvakanaka without interest, and hapana zvamunoita. Chamisa is not interested. Anogona kungozoisa katweet kokungotoseka zvake afterwards. Anogona kungoisa katsumo kake after vaita pass this thing. Then moita sei? You vote for the same person. People in Zimbabwe have got certain powers dziri mavari, and their number one power isingavanetsi is to cast a vote. Of course, we have problems with vote counting and rigging, but in some respects, that vote counts. For instance, the people who voted, they stand above 70-something people who belong to the opposition party Chamisa. Which means they gave them a mandate to go and fight for us. Then because Chamisa threw a tantrum and disorganized the party, they have abandoned everyone. Yes, it may sound good in sound bites to say atichadi taramwa, but kana waramwa game even in soccer, vanokupa kana kuti 3-0, ukasauya ukabuda panze. Vanonyora kuti wakadyiwa 3-0. Ndo zvinoitika ipapa. These people vanongoti maamusipo hamuna kuvhota. You won't go anywhere. All these international organizations vanopiwa shit rine mavotes akaitika kuparliament, and they'll say we have a parliament and these are the votes we got. What are you going to get out of that? Nothing. So we need people who can actually wake the field. Wake the field in the, you saw even Pakatamba Bora Morocco managed to go to the tunnels and bring the players back. Kana mukaramba muri panze munodyiwa, which is what Chamisa is doing. Anoramba ari panze, and we are not even sure what he's trying to achieve because he doesn't say it. anongobuda musi uno akaposta nyoka woti handakambokudza. Saka ndokurwisa kwacho here kungotaura izvozvi. There is no strategy at all. These other guys, they have their own problem, and we can say they were captured, but then we don't even know if Chamisa is not captured because Pavanwesa effort, he puts the least effort of all the people who don't want 20 people to succeed. He puts the least. Then vanhu vacho vanobva vamuunganira vachimuti president apa he is president of nothing because there is not even a party. Anongova kumba kwake. So we need people to realize that we need a strategy and an actionable strategy, something which you can execute. Throwing tantrums is not a strategy. There is no strategy there. We need people who can actually do something, like what we are seeing with other guys. Vakaita sana Tendai, but at least they formed a committee or some kind of community. In it, we speak it, takaisa maleta it. They have organized themselves. We need that kind of organization. So to reinforce that, we want people who are not going to bootlick anyone. We don't want, because when you bootlick a person, right, there's nothing you will achieve there, especially a person that is not taking action. Okay, the people in ZANU-PF, they bootlick President Mnangagwa, but President Mnangagwa is actually taking action. He says things to Parliament, and Parliament does things on his behalf. Now you can bootlick Chamisa who you want, but the guy ends up doing nothing. So we need to be cognizant of that. We need to put our power where they are results. Right? We need something, people who can actually action something. Of course, now we have Tendai BT and the other guy, Itimba, organizing something. That's even better because they've formed a community. And when you form a group of people, even if you want to appeal to other governments out there, if you are a group and you've got a community and you've got letterheads and you've got things, they can listen to you, but they can't listen to you if you pop up with a tweet once after 6 months or so, or promise with it after 90 days I shall do something. Nobody works on that basis. So we need people who can actually. That is Arama game. Of course, the game is tilted. These people here, the field is tilted and towards ZANU-PF. But even if tilted, let's fight with whatever we have. We can't go home totally and say at the process. Let's fight within those three. Even if game real, let's fight. We saw it Papa Bora. It's a faraway example, but those guys, those Senegal guys, they came back and won the game. Imagine they were Karamba. They were going with magic. What is the one water and let's fight this game. Retilted, but while it's complaining, let's take my actionable steps of it. Nas taitage, Mangwana taitage. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Mkoma best.
Yes, very much step you.
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah. In problem we want to do to 2x the Electoral Act, name Political Parties Finance Act, and most of these problems can actually be solved. NEMA regulations are no control of those parts. My regulations are not formulated from those 2 acts. What I'm failing to understand is why do you have to change the constitution? Why do you have to argue at the constitution level? Because the constitution is not even an act. The constitution is just a framework. And then you go down a bit and then you come to these acts. These acts, under them, you have the SIs or the regulations. So if there is any sort of issue, the world is changing every day. So basically, the way we were doing things in 1980, for example, it has changed after 40 years, 50 years, sorry. So basically, it just changed at the regulation level. And who should be guiding these people? And I think the commissions, There's an Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, yes, and then there should be a commission in order to look into, I believe, in regulation of political parties, my behaviors, how they incorporated, how they're funded, and so forth. These should be regulations. Why should, for example, participants be changing the law to suit their needs? So you're doing the opposite of actually what the law stands for. You are changing the law to suit. So I want to find out is a solution to a malfunctioning law, which is wrong. I think that's where we are getting it wrong. Because ukatarisa ma-accusations avari kuita ari intra-party. Let's say vari kuti hanzi inini ndandiri secretary general wanga usipo wanga uri chichi. All these things should be regulated. And then kuti political party inge ichikwanisa kunzi it exists.